I get asked all the time, how long does it take me to wash all of these items? So we decided we were going to film it today. We are not going to be able to film me putting it away because it will sit out here on the counter and dry for a while. But it normally takes me about a half an hour to wash all the produce that I'm bringing home. Then I will lay it out to dry. It depends on the temperature inside and the humidity and all that, but around 2 to 3 hours to dry. And then it only takes me about 10 minutes to put it away in the refrigerator. So if I'm only going grocery shopping once every 3 or so weeks, that does not seem like a waste of time to me at all to spend around a half an hour washing produce. Most of the time I just want to wash in one bowl and use my salad spinner, so I'm not having to wash a lot of items. When I'm trying to do this quickly and be done with it, you'll actually see me grab a couple extra pots out. So I have things going at the same time, but I always have a timer going so I know that I'm not soaking things too long. So watch me do this. It's quick and easy, and you'll be able to learn some tips along the way. Okay, so I have carrots in the big stock pot that they're filling up over here, and while I'm doing that, there's a 2-minute timer going there on the stove. I put the lemons in this bowl and I'm gonna wash them. People ask me all the time if they have to separate the items when you wash. I will oftentimes wash things like lemons and avocado, other citrus, and like peppers together if they fit in the bowl, but carrots and celery, any of the greens, they get so dirty. You don't want to wash them with these items that have the smooth skin. And make sure that you remove any stickers. So then I rub on these. Plop. Plop. I do wash these tops. I normally cut them off just so they fit in the pot better, but I save these for making stock, so I just throw them in the freezer, but I wash them. So the 2-minute timer went on this, and I'm filling up water over here on the celery, so I put these on the towel. If these, with the smooth skin like this, if it did stay in the water for an extra 30 seconds, it's not going to hurt them like it would for berries. So it gives me an extra 30 seconds or so to lay them out. This water had the lemons in it, and it's still pretty darn clean, so I'm just going to reuse that to throw the peppers in there. And if I had any other things that would fit, I could throw them in there. Throw this cucumber in with the celery, and you'll notice it won't fill all the way up to wash it. So in 2 minutes, I will flip it over and make sure the other end gets washed also. And when I'm buying a cucumber, I make sure it doesn't have a really narrow end. I try to get ones that are the same size all the way around, because those will spoil quicker. Okay, potatoes are something that I just put in a wire basket, or a cardboard box works also. After I put the potatoes in the basket, I will cover it with a pillowcase. So this helps keep the light out, and they will stay fresher longer without churning the colors. So I do this with my potatoes. Now make sure that you also store your onions in your pantry, but they need to be 6 feet away from potatoes or they will spoil quicker. These got wet sitting on the counter. I'm going to make sure those dry before I put them with these. So this will have this over it, and it will go into the pantry. Move it on over. Okay, the onions are going to go into this basket. I always, when I go to pick an onion out, I try to listen to see if it sounds crinkly, and that means it's getting dehydrated. So I want to make sure I use that one first. The garlic and the onions can be stored together. Cucumber got washed on both sides. There's the tops that I'm going to dry and then put in a bag in the freezer to save for stock. We have that recipe on the blog. And the celery, I always rinse and rub my thumb down the middle there. Okay, so we're going to be washing berries in here. I have strawberries, and then I will do blackberries and raspberries. You will see me empty this out and put new water in every time because it will be absolutely disgusting. So the strawberries will be here and it'll be a 2-minute timer. And while that's soaking in the stock pot, I will end up cutting the romaine lettuce and putting it in the stock pot and doing this at the same time. Now, all the greens and the berries, it's really important that you set a timer and only soak them for 2 minutes each. While the water is filling up for the lettuce, I am tossing these strawberries around because you want all the sides to get clean. Okay, I'm just going to use the basket from my salad spinner to rinse these. And gently place them on the towel. If you just dump them out and you're really rough with them, they will bruise. Okay, this is the strawberry water. It's absolutely disgusting. I will be putting new water in here before I do the blackberries, but I just wanted to show that these blackberries are from Mexico. So when you're thinking about that, you know, this is the spring. We're not getting fresh berries here in the Seattle area yet. These have already traveled quite a bit. So when you're buying your items, kind of look to see where they came from. And if they're local, they will last longer. Okay, for blackberries and raspberries, they're so delicate. I put the water in the bowl first, and then put the vinegar, and then set the berries in gently. Oh, this is something funny too. Okay, hold on. So I always rinse my lettuce off to make sure that there's no bugs or anything. And sometimes I'll spin it, and sometimes I'll just let it sit in the basket like this for a few minutes and let the excess water just drip off of it before I lay it down. This lettuce water isn't too bad, and so I'm going to put the cilantro in there next. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to throw in the green onions. I'm going to get the blackberries out and put it in the colander. And I think I'm just going to reuse this water and put the raspberries in after I get that floaty out. That's driving me crazy. Okay, I'm going to let that sit there for a second. I'm going to gently put the raspberries in the water, setting a timer for 2 minutes. Just gonna rinse this real quick. These are going to go on the towel. This lettuce is waiting to be spun. It's out of the water, it's just sitting here. You can sit for another second. And these have another minute before I put those in the spinner. Okay, I let this spin for a second while I go back over to the sink and get the next item ready. I put these back in the water that way. Okay, with the spin, raspberries are ready to come out now. So really gently, I'm gonna grab these out. I am very funny with the raspberries, and I have to look in every single one to make sure that there's no little bugs in there. It grosses me out. So you will notice me do that. I also use a paper towel with the raspberries because they will stain your towel, and I put them on a plate so you can move it around. Set those there. So the raspberries, I look inside every single one. But think of this as a cup and this is a hat. You want to put them on the plate so it is not collecting water in that cup. So the green onions, when they are dry, I'm going to put them in a jelly jar with some filtered water. And these will actually sit up here on my countertop for the next couple months. And as I use them, I'll cut them down and they will keep growing back. The cilantro, I'm going to put in the colander for the salad spinner. And we'll give it another rinse. You asked me when I rinse something, it's when the water looks like this. All right, the cilantro, I'm going to put it in the salad spinner and I'm going to spin it a couple times. And then I also have some water right here that I'm going to put grapes in next. The water already has the vinegar in it. And then the grapes, I always take my shears and I break it into like bunch sizes as I put it into the bowl. They're all stuck together here. There we go. Okay. You want to try to keep as many on the stem as possible, because once they come off the stem, then oxygen goes inside them and they start deteriorating quicker. The same thing with strawberries. You don't want to cut the stems off the strawberries until you're ready to use them. We're going to set one more 2-minute timer and then we are done. And this is how much water was from spinning the cilantro. Okay, all of this, even with me talking and stopping to talk to the video, took me about 35 minutes to wash all of this produce. So that's typically about how long it takes me to do a produce haul. And then remember, I'm not going to the grocery store all the time, so it is totally worth being able to keep my produce fresh longer. Remember, the average family is throwing away 60% of the produce that they're buying. Over the next 2 or 3 hours, while this is drying, I will come over here to like the cilantro and I will toss it and move it around and kind of shake some of the water off. And I'll also move any of the greens, like any of the lettuce that I have, I'll flip those over too so they dry. I make sure that my hands are washed and clean when I'm doing that. And other fun fact, since like the grapes don't last as long when they're off the stem, I put them towards the edge, and I've trained my family, those are the ones that you eat first when you're trying to pick at things when it's laying out. And I get asked all the time, you know, if I lay this out to dry, my family's going to eat it. Know that your family's going to eat more produce on washing days, and it's a good thing. Just plan ahead for it. All of these tips are in our books. The book is linked in our description, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you leave in the comments. We do have tons of videos that break these down item by item to teach you how to wash them if you are missing some of the steps. So thanks for following.